What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today we are going to talk about improvisation. This video is for improvisation on any instrument. Before we dive in, if you find this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. With this video being an intro to basic improv, I would definitely share with anyone who's always wanted to unlock the mysteries of improvisation. This is the video for you. Okay, before we get started, I need to put a couple disclaimers out there. This video is an intro to improvisation. This is going to help you get your very first solo. It is not a video on jazz theory. It's not a video on how to read chord symbols. We're not going to talk about any advanced concepts. We're simply going to break down improvisation into tiny little steps that are very, very easy to follow. Our first goal in improvisation when we're just learning is to play the right notes in time. That's it. Right notes in time, and you're going to be well on your way. Once you start doing that, and as we add more and more notes, you're automatically going to start to express yourself. You're going to kind of dig into it a little bit harder, and you're going to start to feel it, and that expression is going to come out. But in the beginning, I'm going to tell you notes to play. You're going to play the notes. You're going to make up a rhythm, and it's going to sound like improv. So the definition of improvisation is spontaneous composition, which sounds very fancy, but it's basically just taking the set of notes that fit over a chord or a scale that fits over a chord and making up a cool rhythm. To do that, we are going to use the blues scale. The blues scale is a great place to start an improvisation because when you just play the scale, it sounds like a cool idea. If you just play that, it sounds cool. Below, I'll put the notes for the blues scale in E flat, B flat, and C. So no matter what instrument you're playing, you'll be able to pick out the notes pretty easily. I am playing the alto saxophone, which is based in the key of E flat. So I will talk in the key of E flat. I might use numbers like 1 and flat 3 and all that kind of stuff, but I'll explain it as we go along. Okay, the moment you have been waiting for. We are going to improvise now. The very first note we are going to use is our 1 in the blues scale. For alto players, it is G. For tenor and trumpet players, it is C. For B flat people. For C people, it is B flat. We are going to play that note. Just play the 1. Now, we're going to play that note and repeat it several times. Here comes the improvisation part. We are going to take that note, the 1 of your blues scale. For me, it's going to be a G. And we are going to just play a cool rhythm using that 1 note over a 2-bar phrase. It's going to sound like this. That's it. That's improvising. I'm taking a note that fits a chord or fits a structure, and I'm making a cool rhythm. That is what improv is. Throughout this video, I'm going to be using the method that I use with my private students. What is going to make this a little tough is there's going to be no playing back and forth because I'm doing a video. I'm not working with a student. So I suggest every time I say play the 1 and I play it, then you stop the video and you play it. If I say repeat the note several times, stop the video, you repeat the note several times. If I say play a cool rhythm for 2 bars using this note or these set of notes, then stop the video and do that also. Why are we using 2-bar phrases, you might wonder? 2-bar phrases are kind of like sentences. It's a complete statement in music. If I stop there, it makes perfect sense. If I stop after 1, it just kind of sounds random. So we do 2-bar phrases. Okay, so now that we know how to improvise, which is just taking a note and doing a cool rhythm with it, and we know what note to play, which in this case it's the 1, and we know that it needs to be a 2-bar rhythm so that it sounds like a musical sentence, we're good to go. We're just going to apply this to each note in the blues scale. All right, so you've got your 1-note solo and you're crushing it and it sounds great. Obviously, we don't want to play 1-note solos forever, so it's time to add the next note. We're going to add the flat 3. First, play a G and then a B flat. Now we're going to play a bunch of G's and B flats back to back. Now, we are going to improvise using just a G and a B flat. That's it. We're just taking those 2 notes and making up a rhythm. Now, when we have two notes, we have two options of things to do. First, we can go between the notes. And we can repeat notes. Those are your two options. Now to practice it, we're going to do 2-bar phrases. I'm going to count us in, I'll play 2 bars, and then I'll count while you play 2 bars along with me, and we'll do that back and forth 3 or 4 times. Do not play what I'm playing. Use it as an example. Make up your own rhythms. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Still pretty easy, right? 2-bar phrases, 2-note solos. We're crushing it. So the next thing we're going to do is add another note. Now it would make sense to go to the 4 because we'd be going up the scale. But if we put the 7 on the bottom, everything just sounds cooler. In this case, we're going to play F, G, B flat, which is your flat 7, your 1, and your 3. Now, we're going to play those 3 notes up and down. The next step, we are going to take those 3 notes and we are going to make up a 2-bar improv melody with it, using your flat 7, your 1, and your flat 3. So let's trade it back and forth on this one also. I will count us in, I'll play 2 bars, and then you'll play 2 bars while I count out the time. 1, 2, ready, go. You, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Great, now we've got solos that actually are starting to sound good. So what I am going to do for the rest of the video, at the very end, I'm going to record a whole bunch of me playing 2 measures and then 2 measures of rest where you can play, and then me playing 2 measures back and forth. That way the video isn't 18 hours long. If I do that on every note, it's going to take forever. So you've got an idea of how it works now, and at the end, I'll do it instead of doing it in between every single note this time. So we have 3 notes so far. It's time to add our 4th, and literally, we're going to add our 4th. So we're going to play our flat 7, our 1, our flat 3, and our 4. Play them up and down a whole bunch of times. Now, play them in a 2-bar phrase where you're making up a rhythm. Here's an example. 1, 2, 3. The next note that we're going to add is our sharp 4. For me, it's a C sharp. So we're going to play flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, sharp 4. We're going to play them up and down several times. Let's get our fingers used to it. We're going to apply the exact same rules we did when we had fewer notes. We're going to take those 5 notes and just add a cool rhythm to it over 2 bars. When we get a whole bunch of notes in there, which we've got 5 notes to choose from, we can skip the notes. We can jump to notes. You don't have to go in scale-wise motion. So you can go from your 4 down to your flat 7, or you can go from your sharp 4 to your 1. You can just jump any of the notes. All of the notes fit, so you can jump around as much as you want. Let's add the 5. For me, that is a D. So we're going to play flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, sharp 4, and 5. It's going to sound like this. Then we're going to go up and down using those notes to get our fingers used to that movement. Let's take all of those notes and do a 2-bar improv phrase. 1, 2, ready, go. As we get more notes, the 2 bars kind of seems limiting. It's like you want to keep going, but you ran out of time. We can do 2 2-bar phrases, which gives you, obviously, 4 bars. It's almost like a question and answer phrase. The first 2 bars are the question, the second 2 bars are the answer. Take a listen. 1, 2, 3, question. Answer. Now we've got way more notes, and we've expanded our improv solo from 2 measures to 4 measures, so we are well on our way. We're going to add our last note. Our last note has actually already been added. We've been playing our flat 7 on the bottom since our 3rd note was added. Now we're going to put it up on the top. So we're going to start on our 1 and go all the way up to our 1, playing the entire blues scale. That's how the flat 7 sounds when you put it up at the top of the scale. Now we're going to play up and down the scale a whole bunch of times. We're going to take all of those notes and we are going to do some improv with it. The same thing that we've been doing when we had 1 note and 2 notes and 3 notes and now all of the notes in the scale. We're going to use that same concept. I'll count it in and play a 2-bar solo. 1, 2, ready, go. That's it. That's improv. So now we know all the notes in the scale, and let's do some longer solos. We're going to do 4-bar solos. So it'll be 2 2-bar phrases, a question phrase and an answer phrase. Here it goes. 1, 2, there you go. And that's it. That is improvisation. That is how easy it is. You take these notes, you plug in cool rhythms, and then you play them in time. So now I am going to play a bunch of 2-bar phrases. I'm going to count us in. I'll play 2 bars, and then I will count out loud for 2 bars while you play over it, and we'll repeat that back and forth. You can do it with just 1 note, 3 notes, all the notes. You can do whatever you want. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready. You, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 2 things that I want you to be aware of. 1, I want to make sure that you are not repeating what I'm playing. Take it as an example, but do not play exactly what I'm playing. If I go, and then you play, you are not improvising. You are copying what I'm doing. So make sure you come up with your own rhythms and your own notes. Second, we have learned the blues scale in order. But the blues scale can extend below and above the 1. So you can use any of those notes. You don't have to just stay in the 1 octave. One more thing that I should put out there. When you are improvising in a jazz style, you want to think mainly 8th notes. Like you don't have to only play 8th notes, but 8th notes are your friend because they're going to make it sound like the phrase is moving along. It has a bunch of motion to it. If you play quarter notes, you're going to get this. And it doesn't go anywhere. So that doesn't mean you can't play any quarter notes. It just means 8th notes should be your main ingredient. 8th notes are what's going to make the phrase move along. Here's something with 8th notes and a few quarter notes. Also, of course, you can use triplets. I'm sure you're asking yourself, how do I know what notes fit, what scale fits each song? That is for a different video, that is for a different tutorial, because it's a little bit more involved. But in the beginning, once you learn your blues scale, you can apply it to all different kinds of songs. And if you change the key of your blues scale, that gives you a whole bunch of other songs. So my suggestion would be to work on your improv with these blues scales, get them in a couple of different keys. And once you've got that worked out, you'll be ready to move on to the next step. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. This is definitely a good one to share with your friends who are in band, a jazz band with you, and are trying to figure out how to get that first improv solo.